Hi there. My name is Amber Kellen and I'm the Director of Community Initiatives, Policy and Research at the John Howard Society of Toronto. So the John Howard Society is a nonprofit organization and we work mostly with men who are in jail and also those who have been released. And most of our work focuses on reintegration and providing support for people once they have been released from custody. We understand that there have been a very small number of cases. However, not too long ago, the Ontario Correctional Institute in Brampton closed down entirely because they had an outbreak. And many people within that population were actually transferred to the Toronto South Detention Facility to try to make some more space. So here in Toronto, for example, we are home to the largest remand facility in Canada. At capacity, 1,630 people. We know from our own research that once they're at the time that they're released, about 33 to 44% of them will have no fixed address. So we know that generally people in this particular facility have been charged but not convicted. So technically they're innocent. Most of them have not yet gone to court. They've not been sentenced. A typical example of what's been happening is, we have a supportive housing program and we're able to offer people sometimes subsidies to be able to live in our spaces. And this one individual was homeless, and that is usually the eligibility for most people in our housing program. He was released from custody and he had come and went to a shelter, and the shelter where he was staying actually had a COVID outbreak. So he was a close contact of someone who tested positive. And so he went to the city's special hotel site where they have people who are under investigation. And so he stayed there for just over a week, I believe. And eventually we were able to determine that his test was negative. He was tested, he was negative, but there was a period of time where we weren't sure. So we had to make an arrangement to hang on to his room before he was able to move in the case that he had to be kept in an isolation hotel. Fortunately, that didn't happen, and we're happy to say that he arrived today and he has moved in. Food security is an ongoing issue. Many of the services, programs, food banks, even safe injection sites had been shut down, some of them temporarily, some of them we're not certain if and when they'll be reopened. So getting food to our clients was a huge issue in the first days of the pandemic. Until the 12th of March, we had a small trailer, a converted camping trailer actually, in the parking lot of the Toronto South Detention Facility. And from there, we were able to meet with people immediately upon release. Prior to the pandemic, we'd been seeing about 100 people per month, most of them with no fixed address. We had to close that site in March, as I mentioned, because it's so small that there wasn't enough space to allow for social distancing in that area. So we know that we have to get back there as soon as possible to assist people. We know that although there are fewer people inside, some of those who are still in custody, because we hear from them every day, we still collect calls and we still have a toll-free number, are really fearful about what's happening on the outside in the community as far as COVID goes, have limited information about what's happening on the inside. The most important thing for us to know right now is that, while this is a very terrible time in many ways, there are also some important opportunities. And I think that when it comes to the development of transitional housing, more affordable housing for vulnerable populations, this is an opportunity where the things that we're now able to access because of this crisis, we have to be sure that they're sustainable. We have to hold on to all the ground that we're able to have right now, all of the progress that we're able to make, so that when this crisis ends, and it will, John Howard will still be here to help people who are transitioning and who are looking for assistance and who need help. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call or email me, and thank you so much for your time.